Good morning, everyone. Debbie with Cool Cats Art. Today, and thank you for joining my channel, by the way. I really do appreciate it. You could be anywhere else, but you're on my channel today, and I thank you so very much for it. And I hope you find it informative and entertaining somewhat. And if you'd like and subscribe, that would be awesome. I'm trying to grow it. So today, I'm using a very, very simple color palette. I'm going to try with just 3 colors today on this bloom. I'm going to do a bloom on a, this is just a 10-inch stretched canvas. I've seen someone use a similar color combination recently, and I really liked it, so I'm trying to kind of sort of duplicate it. I hope mine turns out as well. There's some conflicting colors on here, and that's okay for this pour. I know that this is a blue, Amsterdam Turquoise blue. This is Deco Art 24 karat gold. This color here, it's kind of an orangey, brownish, goldish color, is my homemade version of nickel azo gold, because I don't have any. And I mixed, to get this, Liquitex Burnt Sienna with Amsterdam Vermillion and the Deco Art 24 karat gold. And I mixed that up. I mean, I didn't measure the amounts, I just made a mix of it. And I like the color as it sits in the cup there. We'll see how it turns out. But because I'm using blue and gold, and then this custom color's got some gold in it. Blue and yellows, and gold is a yellow, makes green. And ordinarily, I don't like that unless I want some green in my painting. I'll be okay with some green in this painting. I'm just hoping the green doesn't take over. So that's the goal. We'll see what this simple color palette does. And I'm using Amsterdam Oxide Black with Australian Floetrol 3:1 for my cell activator. For my pouring mediums, well, I used only 1 to 2 ingredients for that today. I used primarily Valspar's Ultra High Gloss paint in a base C. I'll put the can number in the description box. It's a lot thinner than the Dynasty, which I do use the Dynasty a lot, but I didn't use any of it in this pour. And if I needed to thin it out a little bit, which I did with the tube paints especially, I used a couple of squirts of GAC 100. This is great stuff for thinning, and you don't have to use your varnish or polyacrylic or whatever, which I'm trying to get away from in most all of my pours, because it always seems to kind of make my cells a little wonky. I just mixed all this up, so I'm kind of trying to tap some bubbles out of it. I have reinforced this stretch canvas with a piece of cardboard across the center, secured with these little points that I put in with a Logan point setter. And it just tightens up the canvas so it doesn't sag while I'm putting all this heavy paint on it. You can spray the back, and I've done that and do that a lot, but it still doesn't get it, you know, as tight as I would like it for these heavy bloom pour paintings, because that paint really adds up with the pillow paint and whatnot. My pillow paint is a Glidden product, and it's in the description box as well. And I'm using a flat-faced hair dryer. It's called a Confu, C-O-N-F-U. It has varying blow speeds, and it has a cool setting, which is very important in your bloom pouring. You want a cool setting on that, because it sets the paint up too fast if you use hot heat on it. So usually a high blow with cool heat. Okay, so let's start out with, I'm going to test these paints first of all and see if they thickened up on me, and I need to thin them out before I even get started. They're a little thick, but I think that one will be okay. The turquoise, I think it's okay. The 24 karat gold. They're all a little bit thick. So what I'm gonna do is take my GAC 100 and just add a little bit to each one of these cups. It amazes me how quickly this paint can set up rather, in the cup. Putting the lid on it right away. Okay, this is better now. It's flowing off the stick nicely, leaving a small mound and disappearing, which is what you want. It really does need to flow off your stick. This new hair dryer that I have has 16 watts. My previous one had less than 1,000. So it's quite a bit stronger, which I wanted. And so far, so good. It's working out quite nice. All right, let's put some pillow paint down. I had to strain this pillow paint this morning because it had some lumps in it when I was stirring it. So I said, uh-oh, I don't want to pour out any lumps. So I took the time to just strain this little quart of it out. I'm not going completely to the edges. I'm leaving some of this in the, just almost to the edges, but not quite. Okay. Alrighty, let's go down with our colors. I'm trying to decide. Now I'm going to put this my homemade Nickel Gold down first. I'm really only wanting to do, since I'm only using 3 colors, each puddle is going to have to be a pretty good size. Because I really only don't want to layer them up, but just one layer. This should have a little bit of sparkle to it when it dries because it's got that 24 karat gold in there. So I would think that would sparkle it up a little bit. I was going to use Amsterdam Burnt Sienna, but oddly enough, Burnt Sienna is usually, in most brands, it is an opaque paint. Well, I looked at the tube, an Amsterdam tube, and it was transparent. I don't think I'd ever seen a transparent Burnt Sienna, so that was odd. And I didn't want a transparent, so I had to go to a Liquitex because Liquitex isn't opaque. Liquitex Burnt Sienna isn't opaque. As I say, most brands of paints in Burnt Sienna, they are opaque. That was weird. I don't know. I am a turquoise fan, huge admirer of turquoise, whatever. It is one of my favorite colors. Maybe just a little bit more. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. Might be a complete and utter failure, scrape job, I don't know. I don't really have a lot of other paints pre-mixed up if this doesn't turn out good to immediately pour back on top of it. So I guess I could quick like a bunny mix up a few things. I'm trying not to mix my paints up too far in advance and keep them for very long, because they just seem to thicken up too much. And have lids on everything, but they still thicken up. That's why I like to use the GAC products if I'm going to thin out, because it helps maintain the integrity of the pigments and not water them out so bad like water would do, or even varnish for that matter. I'm using quite a gracious amount of this yellow gold here. Okay. Now let me put my lids back on over here before I blow it out. Like I say, I normally would not put this blue next to this gold because of the green. So this is going against I'm a little bit uncomfortable with it, but we're going to see what happens. And then I'm going to put a little puddle of the black in here. Fairly decent little puddle of that. I'm kind of wanting a lot of cells, so I hope this gives it to me. Okay, well, here we go. That's an awful lot of black there in the middle. I may have used too much cell activator, and that'll be okay if I can get some of those to pop up. Okay, let me give it a quick torch and we're going to spin it. And hopefully that's going to spread out a lot better. And let's see what we get going here. I'm gonna see. Okay, let's do some more. There certainly are a lot of cells in it. There's more black in these areas than I certainly would have ideally liked. Let's give it a couple more spins. There are some very nice cells going on all the way out to the edges, and I'm pleased with that. I'm just not super duper happy with the too much of the black showing through. I think that's just a case of too much cell activator. And I did put a lot on there, but you know, it makes for some nice contrast. So maybe that's not such a bad thing. And in the right angles, it doesn't look black, it looks more greenish. Like when I tilt it this way, it's hard to get that. When you get the right angle on it, it looks pretty nice. I don't think I'm gonna pour over it or scrape it. I think it's worth evaluating after it's dried. And then if it doesn't quite sit right, I can pour over it. Okay, I'm gonna move this over to the drying rack, and I'll bring you back down tomorrow, which it'll just be a second on your tape, and we'll take a look at it after it's dried.